The low-carb diet, sometimes also known as the ketogenic diet, depending on certain factors. Can it help you with your physical and your mental health? You better believe that it can. So hello everyone, my name is Autumn Asphodel and I am a coach to help you live your best life and find your true purpose. And you can schedule a free consultation over at autumasphodel.com/coaching. And in today's video, we're talking about how the ketogenic or the low-carb diet can actually help your mental health. If you're struggling with mental health issues, what can you do about your diet, which is the most important thing that you can do for your physical and mental health? What can you change about your diet to help with your mental capacities, with your issues that you have, that you're struggling with, depression, anxiety, mental illness, a whole bunch of other problems that you may have? How can changing your diet be less carbs? How can it be beneficial to you? So enjoy the video. Is the low-carb or ketogenic diet ideal if you're struggling with mental health issues? Do carbs, sugars, and other processed food contribute to mental health issues? You may be asking this if you're struggling with a mental illness, since you want to try everything you possibly can to help yourself, but often don't consider diet to be a contributing factor. However, diet is the key factor when it comes to your mental health. The connection between the gut and the brain is so strong that your gut is often thought of as your other brain. With a poor diet comes poor health, not just physical, but also mental. Eating junk food, highly processed meals, lack of probiotics, lack of healthy fats, and excessive sugar intake causes a myriad of health problems. Just think about a time when you ate something that didn't sit well. You'll often find that it has an effect on your mental health and your physical health. When it comes to a low-carb, keto diet specifically, the whole premise is that you're consuming more fat and protein than you are carbohydrates. For most people, this is extremely difficult since carbs are in almost everything we eat. Whether that be grains, starches, sugars, they are all carbs and must be eliminated if you want to follow a keto diet. Furthermore, a keto diet is also shown to help you lose weight. Carbohydrates are your body's fuel, but when you're not consuming them, fat is used as fuel, which is a much cleaner source that leaves you with more energy for longer. Your body will use the fat from your diet, which is why a keto diet is high fat, but also will burn excessive fat from your body. This is the state of ketosis. When you eat carbohydrates, that increases your glucose levels in your body. And depending on how your body functions and the insulin that your body naturally produces, your body may have a hard time producing enough insulin or the correct amount of insulin, maybe too little, too much, that it messes up your entire body. And this is where some people can develop diabetes if prolonged, or it ends up getting a bit out of control. But that is more of a physical health issue. But how does it impact your mental health? Well, if you have sensitivities especially, or if you do have some sort of problem with regulating insulin, then the glucose will go throughout your entire body. And this can go into your brain, this can go into other areas of your body, and it can really cause a lot of brain fog, a lot of problems with your mental capacity, as well as mental illness. It can cause you to be depressed and anxious, and a variety of other factors may come into play here. So with that understanding, you have to look at your life then. You have to look and see, maybe some of the foods that you're eating, do you feel really bad after you eat them? Do you feel brain fog after you eat them? Do you feel as though your mental health issues get worse after you eat certain foods? Why is that? What are the ingredients in those foods? In addition, maybe it is the carbs that could be contributing to that. Maybe it's too much sugars, too much carbs. Maybe you have certain sensitivities. You have to be mindful of this. But how does this tie in with your mental health? It primarily comes down to sugar. If you're someone who consumes a lot of processed sugar, such as added sugar in snacks, breads, and other sweets, then eliminating them will have an immediately positive effect on your mind and body. Sugar is addictive, so getting off of it is not easy. If you're sensitive to carbs and feel extremely tired after eating them, with brain fog and the inability to go about your daily routine, then lessening carbs is the key. Not only may you be sensitive to carbohydrates, but you could have sensitivities to the foods you are eating, but are not connecting the dots. You may have a gluten intolerance, and gluten negatively affects you and makes you tired with an upset stomach. Furthermore, many types of carbs that come from wheat often contain high levels of glyphosate, which has severely adverse reactions to the human body when ingested, including, but not limited to, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, digestive issues, and even cancer. Eating carbs also raises your glucose level, which may contribute to mental health issues, especially if you have insulin resistance or diabetes. Glucose is the energy source that you get from carbs, but when your body is not utilizing it correctly, excessive glucose can stay in your bloodstream for prolonged periods of time and deposit into organs and areas of your body, gunking them up, so to speak. All this extra work on your body causes severe stress as you're eating foods that is not good for you. So lowering your carbs, especially sugar, can greatly benefit you. But there are several things to be leery of. While keto-friendly products have become increasingly more accessible and popular, it doesn't mean it's good for you. Sure, there is keto bread, keto desserts, keto ice cream, and almost everything else you can imagine could be keto, but is it healthy? Most of the time, it is not healthy unless you look for specific things. For keto bread, it is often high fiber to offset the carbs, but often uses wheat as the base, which is not ideal since wheat can cause a spike in glucose, cause inflammation, and is often laden with glyphosate. So look for bread made with almond flour or coconut flour. You would also want to avoid highly processed plant oils, such as soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, and grapeseed oil. Another thing to be mindful of is sugar substitutes, artificial sweeteners, and sugar alcohols. In order for a sweet to actually be sweet, it needs a substitute to sugar. But you'll often find that many products out there are not safe for consumption or should be consumed in moderation. Excessive intake will have a laxative effect and can cause severe stomach pain. The ones to absolutely avoid are the artificial sweeteners sucralose, aspartame, and acesulfame potassium. Sugar alcohols that are often considered safe, primarily if they are non-GMO, as many of them are made with genetically modified corn, are erythritol, sorbitol, mannitol, and xylitol. Better ones to consume are stevia, monk fruit, and allulose. With this in mind, limit sugar substitutes and go mostly low carb, and you'll notice a huge difference. It's okay if you need a sweet every now and again and get something with a natural sweetener or sugar alcohol, but don't overdo it. Excessive intake can be worse than actually eating too much sugar. So keep it simple and simply avoid high sugar foods and go for the occasional sweet every now and again. The moment you lower your carbs and your sugar intake, you'll notice positive effects on your mind and body. Let me know how this works for you. Have a great day. So the keto diet can be absolutely amazing for your mental health because you're cutting out a lot of the processed sugar and carbs that could be contributing to higher glucose levels, insulin production in your body that could be causing a lot of mental health problems for you and physical health problems. But you also have to do keto the right way. It's not just about buying substitutes of the things that you like. I think those things in moderation can be good for you. Like if you love ice cream, very, very bad for you. Loaded with a bunch of sugar. There is no health benefit to eating all that sugar, all that ice cream. It's really not. So getting a keto version of it could satisfy some of that desire that you have for a little bit of a sweet, or maybe even like a keto cookie. But you have to be mindful. This is not something you want to be doing all the time, eating all the time, especially when it's bad sugar substitutes that could cause a myriad of health issues themselves. So keep that limited. Keep some of the keto breads limited unless it's made with good quality ingredients. But mostly focus on higher fat content. Fat is a better fuel source than carbs that could bring you a lot more mental clarity when you get into the state of ketosis. But it takes some time to get there. It takes a lot of discipline to get there. But I think that if you're determined to try this type of diet out and see how it affects you, you will find that you have more energy, that the brain fog will be gone. You will be able to think clearly. And maybe some of your mental health issues that you were having, or you're still having, have lessened a bit. Maybe you're able to manage them a bit better. It's worth a try, because if you're serious about remedying your mental health issues, then everything should be on the table as to ways to tackle it, no matter how hard it is. Because there's nothing as hard as dealing with the mental illness. So find some ways that are going to help you properly deal with that. So in my own personal life, I have been someone who has not been too fond of all these sugars in food. Back when I was much younger, you eat a lot more sugar. But since then, I'm very, very mindful of the type of sugar that is in the food that I eat. If it's not natural sugar that is in it, I usually don't get it. If it has a lot of sugar, I usually do not consume it. My sugar intake is relatively low. Carbs, on the other hand, not necessarily. I think at times I have noticed carbs for a lunchtime, midday is probably the worst time to be eating carbs. So that's the time that I personally should be eating less carbs, more high fat, less carbs. And then for a dinner time, that tends to be fine to eat carbs. Everyone's body is different, so you have to gauge it based on how you react to it. And for me, changing some of this has been a positive impact for me. Be sure to check out the amazing merchandise over at Asphodel Shop for some inspiring designs. I'm sure you'll find something amazing. Also become a member. $5 up and above will get you early access to new videos months before they are publicly available to anyone else. And I want to thank you all so very much for tuning into this video. Let me know how your diet is. Let me know how you're going to change your diet after watching this video. And let me know, even if you started a ketogenic diet, how it has helped your physical health and your mental health. I'm really curious to hear it. So you all take care, have a great one, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.